On Tuesday, Eileen Sullivan died from injuries sustained in a hit and run.
Eileen was very well loved by the community, by her co-workers, and her family, and we're all suffering.
Friday morning, Andrea Rich, the woman accused of hitting Sullivan, was in Rockingham County Superior Court for a bail hearing. Sullivan was hit around 3:30 in the morning, January 31st, outside the Dunkin' Donuts in Epping where she worked.
Upon that, the defendant gets out of the car. She goes over, she looks to Miss Sullivan, who was lying on the ground and not moving. She gets back in her car and continues on her way without calling or notifying anybody.
It's estimated that Sullivan was lying in the parking lot for 10 to 15 minutes before she was discovered. Sullivan's sister says she just can't understand how someone could do that.
Even if she was going to leave, she could have at least got her help. That 10 or 15 minutes could have saved her life.
The defense argued that Rich has no prior criminal history and is a lifelong resident of New Hampshire, that Rich was open about what happened to police, even to her own detriment.
My client was cooperative, gave a statement incriminating herself, saying that she panicked after striking the woman outside the Dunkin' Donuts.
Rich also submitted a blood sample to authorities, which came back negative, showing that she was not impaired at the time of the accident. The judge set bail at $5,000 cash or surety, and Rich was taken into custody. However, the defense says that Rich will be able to post that bail. Reporting live in Brentwood, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.